Alright, folks, today we're stepping into the ring with a story that's got everything: pride, downfall, revenge, and a rivalry so fierce it shook the boxing world to its core. We're talking about Tony Bellew and David Haye, two fighters whose names became synonymous with hate, disdain, and pure, unfiltered drama. These weren't just opponents trading punches, they were bitter enemies who turned a single fight into a career-defining saga. I'm going to break it all down for you: how their feud ignited, how one man's fall became another's triumph, and what it really means to lose when you're already teetering on the edge. So stick around until the end, hit that like button, and buckle up. This is going to be an intense ride. Let's start with David Haye. This guy burst onto the scene in 2002 with power and speed that made jaws drop. A straight left, a crushing right, he was a knockout artist from the get-go. He racked up wins like it was nothing, but his career wasn't all smooth sailing. In 2004, he hit his first big wall, losing to Carl Thompson. Haye was all over the place that night, stumbling, dazed, until the towel came flying in from his corner. It was a brutal setback, but Haye didn't stay down. He clawed his way back, snagged the European Championship, and then steamrolled guys like John Mormon and Enzo Maccarinelli. By 2009, he'd cemented his legacy with a historic win over Nikolai Valuev, towering over the giant to claim the heavyweight crown. The crowd went wild, and Haye's star was shining bright. But here's where it gets messy. Haye loved stirring the pot. Controversy followed him like a shadow. Take his feud with Vladimir Klitschko. Haye didn't just talk trash, he turned it into an art form. "I want the Klitschko's heads, plain and simple," he'd say, grinning at the crowd as they ate it up. He provoked, he taunted, and when he stepped into the ring with Klitschko, the buildup was insane. Then there was that infamous press conference brawl with Derek Chisora. Things got so heated that Chisora claimed Haye pulled a knife on him. Haye's response: "I was eating steak at a restaurant." Classic. He beat Chisora in 2012, but injuries started piling up after that, derailing his momentum and leaving fans wondering if he'd ever return to form. Enter Tony Bellew. This guy's a different breed. He's not just a fighter, he's a scrapper, a risk-taker who never backs down. In 2016, Bellew became the WBC Cruiserweight World Champion, taking out the unbeaten Ilunga Makabu at Goodison Park. The crowd erupted as he stood over his fallen opponent, a king in his hometown. Later that year, he crushed BJ Flores in a dominant display, proving he wasn't just a flash in the pan. But Bellew wasn't content to sit on his throne. He wanted bigger challenges, and he had his sights set on one man, David Haye. Picture this: Bellew's in the ring after the Flores fight, adrenaline pumping, and he spots Haye in the crowd. Without missing a beat, he grabs the mic. "I'll put you and that pathetic haircut to sleep, SpongeBob SquarePants," he yells. The arena explodes. Bellew's on a tear, calling Haye out with venom dripping from every word. "I smashed your buddy, your playmate, your nightclub pal, and I'll smash you the exact same way," he roars. Haye, sitting there with that smug grin, doesn't flinch. The gauntlet's thrown, and the boxing world knows something massive is brewing. Haye fired back with a video message of his own. "Tony Bellew, you must have lost your goddamn mind," he says, pacing in front of the camera. "That punch in the first round that dropped you. Your brain got scrambled. You're calling me out. Let's do it." The tension was electric. On November 25, 2016, promoter Eddie Hearn dropped the bombshell on Twitter: Bellew vs. Haye was official. March 4, 2017, at the O2 Arena. Bellew bulked up, stepped up to heavyweight, and the stage was set for war. The buildup was chaos. Press conferences turned into battlegrounds. "I'm going to break your head, that's what I'm gonna do," Haye snarled at Bellew. "I'm gonna smash your head in, you got that? Shut the hell up." Bellew didn't back down. "I'll knock you out, easy night's work," he shot back. "You're a chump, a pumped-up light heavyweight. Useless." The British Boxing Board of Control even had to step in, warning them to tone down the language. Didn't matter, things escalated fast. At the first press conference on November 30th, it got physical. Hay landed a left hook on Bellew during a scuffle, leaving a mark. Security rushed in, but the damage was done. Fans were buzzing, and the hype was unreal. Bellew later admitted on the Rockwater podcast that he was terrified going into that fight. "I wrote my will before stepping in the ring," he said. "I knew Hay could kill me that night. He's powerful, dangerous, the one guy who could end me. But you'd never know it from his swagger." He walked into the O2 like he owned it, while Hay strutted in promising to send Bellew to dreamland. The bell rang, and it was on. Bellew started strong, keeping his guard tight, but Hay took the early rounds on points. His speed was still there, his power undeniable. Bellew couldn't land anything big, until round 5. Disaster struck Hay. He misstepped, his Achilles tendon snapped, and he crumpled. Bellew smelled blood. He pounced, unloading flurries as Hay staggered, barely able to stand. The crowd was on its feet, roaring as Hay hit the canvas. He got up, kept swinging, but he was a shell of himself. By round 9, Hay rallied briefly, stealing the round with sheer grit. But his balance was shot, his punches weak. In round 11, Bellew unleashed hell, combination after combination sent Hay tumbling through the ropes. His Achilles gave out again, and he barely crawled back in. His trainer, Shane McGuigan, had seen enough. The towel flew in, and Tony Bellew stood victorious. The underdog had done it. Post-fight, Hay didn't blame the injury. "I was too eager to knock him out," he said. "My Achilles snapped, but that's not why I lost." Bellew praised Hay's heart, and Hay admitted, Tony was a level above. "I want a rematch." Bellew, meanwhile, broke his hand early in the fight and considered retiring. "I've done it all," he said. But the story wasn't over. Hay spent 14 months recovering, hitting the gym hard, posting ripped physique pics on Instagram. "Bellew's in trouble," he captioned one. Fans believed him. Bellew agreed to the rematch, set for December 17, 2017, but a biceps injury pushed it to May 5, 2018. This time, the buildup was quieter, no wild trash talk, just focus. Bellew seemed confident, even starting trouble at the final press conference with a shove to Hay's chest. Hay vowed to retire if he lost. "If I can't beat Tony Bellew, what's left for me in the heavyweight division?" he said. Bellew smirked. "You know what's coming. You're going to lose again." May 5, 2018. The O2 Arena in London was buzzing once again, the air thick with anticipation. The lights dimmed, the crowd roared, and David Hay stepped into the ring looking like a man reborn. 14 months of recovery had chiseled him back into fighting shape, his physique was ripped, his eyes sharp, his swagger undeniable. This was his shot at redemption, a chance to prove the first loss to Tony Bellew was a fluke, an Achilles snapping freak accident that wouldn't define him. As the bell rang for round 1, Hay came out firing, crisp jabs snapping through the air, his feet dancing across the canvas with that old familiar rhythm. He was sharp, focused, a predator stalking his prey. By round 2, he was feeling it. The showboating kicked in, shoulders shimmying, hands low, daring Bellew to come at him. The crowd ate it up, cheering as Hay flashed that $1,000,000 grin. This was the Haymaker they remembered, the knockout king ready to reclaim his throne. But Tony Bellew? He wasn't fazed. He stepped into that ring with ice in his veins, a man who'd already stared down the abyss and walked away victorious. While Hay played to the crowd, Bellew stayed calm, methodical, circling the ring like a shark waiting for the perfect moment to strike. His guard was tight, his eyes locked on Hay, studying every move. He didn't rush in, didn't bite at the bait Hay was dangling. He knew the game, let Hay tire himself out, let him burn that energy on flash and flare. The first 2 rounds ticked by, and Hay was winning on points, no question. His jabs were landing, his movement keeping Bellew at bay. The commentators were buzzing, the crowd leaning forward in their seats. Could Hay pull it off this time? Could he turn back the clock and silence the doubters? Then came the third. The air shifted. Bellew saw his opening, a split-second lapse in Hay's rhythm, and he pounced. Out of nowhere, a thunderous right hand crashed into Hay's jaw. The crack echoed through the arena, and Hay's legs buckled. Down he went, hitting the canvas with a thud that sucked the air out of the place. The crowd gasped, a collective jolt of shock rippling through the stands. Hay's hands scrambled for the ropes, his pride dragging him back to his feet as the referee's count ticked on. He was up, wobbly but defiant, shaking his head like he could will the dizziness away. He swung back, wild hooks slicing through the air, desperate to regain control. But Bellew wasn't done. He smelled blood now, and he unleashed a flurry, lefts, rights, a relentless barrage that caught Hay flush. Down he went again, sprawling across the mat, his chest heaving. The O2 erupted, half in disbelief, half in awe. Bellew stepped back, fists still clenched, watching as Hay clawed his way up once more. The man's heart was undeniable, but his body? It was betraying him. By the fourth round, Hay was running on fumes. His legs were gone, those once lightning-fast feet now flat and sluggish. He was gassed, his breaths coming in ragged gasps, his punches losing their snap. Bellew saw it all, every wince, every stumble, and he turned up the heat. He stalked Hay around the ring, picking his shots, landing jabs that stung and hooks that rocked. Hay tried to fire back, but it was like watching a lion with a broken paw, fierce in spirit, fading in strength. The crowd could feel it, that sinking realization that the haymaker was unraveling. Bellew stayed composed, patient, wearing him down blow by blow. The bell rang, and Hay staggered to his corner, his team shouting encouragement over the din of the arena. One more round, they urged. One more push. Round 5 dawned, and it was do or die. Hay came out swinging, digging deep for whatever he had left. A right hand grazed Bellew, a flicker of hope for his fans. But Bellew shrugged it off, his focus unshakable. Then it happened, a monstrous left hook, perfectly timed, exploded against Hay's chin. Time seemed to slow as Hay's head snapped back, his body folding like a marionette with its strings cut. He hit the deck hard, the impact reverberating through the ring. The crowd leapt to its feet, a deafening roar shaking the rafters. Hay's arms flailed, groping for stability, and somehow, someway, he hauled himself up again. His eyes were glassy, his stance unsteady, but he wouldn't quit. Bellew didn't hesitate. He stormed in, fists flying, a brutal onslaught of punches raining down as Hay swayed helplessly. The referee watched, arms poised, and finally waved it off. TKO, round 5. Tony Bellew raised his hands in triumph as David Hay slumped against the ropes, spent, defeated, done. The aftermath was surreal. Hay had promised he'd retire if he lost, and true to his word, he walked away from boxing that night. Months later, he shocked the world again, stepping into a new role as Derek Chizora's manager, a twist no one saw coming. Bellew, meanwhile, soaked in the victory. 6 months down the line, he dropped back to cruiserweight for one final fight, taking on Alexander Usyk, the undisputed champ and Muhammad Ali Trophy winner. It was a valiant effort, but Usyk proved too much. Bellew lost, hanging up his gloves for good. That's a story I've covered in another video, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out after this one. But let's bring it back to Hay vs Bellew, because this rivalry, it was bigger than just wins and losses in a record book. This was pride crashing headlong into resilience. Hay came in with the flash, the power, the larger-than-life persona. He was the broke man in spirit, clinging to past glory, vowing to break Bellew's head.